Howdy, 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 guys. Give me 1 second. I'm just sending this over to Facebook, to the Biking News Canada Facebook page. I think we got it. Okay, we're there. All right. Good evening, Mr. Green Thumb Ottawa and Steve Selway. How are you, gentlemen? You guys actually lived not too far from each other, Steve and Mr. Green Thumb. Hello, Mike Ball. Good to see you this evening, bro. Good to see all you guys. All right, so what do we got? What day is it? Tuesday. Last time I looked. So Tuesday. Generally, I look through, see what Wednesday rides there are. There's a few more things that keep popping up on my timeline. So bike nights are not 100% over yet. I know Bacchus MC Halton Hills wants for me to remind people that they're still having open house nights on Thursdays at their clubhouse, and I'll put that one up tomorrow night. We see it. I don't see anything still going on Wednesdays, but go check your favorite haunts. Go check Perry Sound. Go check Listowel. Go check a few of them places. And Lulu's here too. Hey, Lulu, good to see all you good people today. I didn't click you guys on the screen, man. So yeah, I think bike nights for the most part, as I've been saying, are nearing the end. It is what it is. As it get colder, then the thing gets less and less people, and then you start standing around shivering in your leathers, and then, so it's easier just to have an end date, right? All right, so we got Steve, Mike, Lulu, and Mr. Green Thumb Ottawa in the chat already today. Okay, so I came in a little bit late today. So I had 2 posts today, and I thought, geez, man, maybe we should talk about it. It's the end of the season. I hate talking about motorcycle accidents that cause, the rider not never ride again, never to do anything ever again because they're not here anymore during the season. So I don't want to scare nobody out of riding, if you know what I mean. So we're going to start with this one. My good friend Joseph sent it over this morning. He posted up in the group for us. So up in Aurelia, Ontario, members of the Aurelia Detachment OPP are investigating a fatal motorcycle collision that occurred Monday, October 6th in the township of Oro-Medonte. I had some friends back when they lived in Oro-Medonte. I wonder if he still does. On October 6th, approximately 10:30 in the evening, Aurelia OPP, Simcoe County paramedics, and Township Oro-Medonte Fire Department were dispatched to Highway 11 South, north of Line 15, following multiple 911 calls reporting a person laying on the roadway and a motorcycle at the scene. The involved pickup truck was initially accounted for. Upon arrival, officers located a deceased male with clear signs of fatal injuries. Witnesses at the scene directed to the officers to the suspected driver of the pickup, who remained at the location. The driver exhibited signs of impairment and was subsequently arrested. Witness statements obtained at the scene indicate that the motorcycle and pickup were engaged in a road rage type altercation. Oh yeah, this story's got so many things wrong with it. And not wrong with the story. It's not wrong with the reporting, wrong with how people are acting. The deceased is identified as a 27-year-old male from Toronto, and as a result of the investigation, a 37-year-old male from Bracebridge has been charged with impaired causing death, dangerous operation causing death, obstruct police, failure or refusal to comply with demand causing death. So I think that means he was already told not to drive. Operated a motor vehicle without insurance, so the family of the guy who got killed is not going to see a penny out of it. Driving under suspension and no currently validated permit. Ay, ay, ay. Man, that's so. They got the whole damn world going on it, man. They first off, they're doing road rage. So, the guy on the bike, I get it. The guy cuts you off, you're pissed off. You can't win a road rage fight against a pickup truck on a motorcycle out there on Highway 11. It's a pretty desolate whole highway. You know what I mean? Like, what in the world was the guy thinking? Just get away from the bad driver. If you got to slow down, let him go ahead of you. Or if you got to twist on and roll on and get the hell out of there, get away from the bad drivers when you're on your bike, especially the ones that are dangerous to you. And then it comes to find out that the man was drunk on top of it all. Hey, Motorbomb, Virginia. Good to see you, bro. So you know what I mean? So he gets in a tussle on his motorcycle. It turns out the guy's drunk. Now, what's the guy, now we got a drunk guy. And this is kind of a weird situation to be in because a person like me will never, ever advocate for throw him in jail, because I've been to jail, man. It sucks. Nobody deserves to go to jail. But the guys who got killed, who was riding a motorcycle, I bet you his family wants the truck driver to go to jail, the pickup driver to go to jail. You know what I mean? Not insured, like I say. So the motorcycle rider's family's not going to see any money out of any lawsuit because there's no insurance company to sue. And no documentation, no papers, no plates, no nothing. Who knows who even owned the pickup truck? Sometimes a hard digging lawyer, a hard reaching lawyer will reach past the person who was driving to the person who owned the vehicle to get some sort of monetary satisfaction for the family. But, it doesn't work in every case. And it's been a crappy year. I like I say, I could, if I wanted, open up my phone and see a story of a motorcycle rider in Canada getting killed every day. I did pretty much every day this season, man. From one side of the country to the other. There's a post not long ago about the provincial government in Nova Scotia saying that there was an unusually high amount of motorcycle deaths this year, and they got to think of what they want to do about it. And Steve, yeah, that's always been what I thought. Is distracted drivers. Then you get out in the country, like these guys in Oro Medonte, they're kind of out in the country, and lots of people, smaller rural settings, will take that chance and drive around drunk, right? So ChatGTP, they went up to 2023. There's 8,475 motorcycle accidents reported to the cops 2 years ago. And every year they say it seems to go up 9 to 11% in those numbers. And 17%. So Ontario alone reported 3,876 crashes in 2023. 17% of all motor vehicle accidents in the province are motorcycles, where they reported near doubling of deaths in 2022 compared to 2021. So the accidents, so they're riding faster, they're riding bigger bikes, their impacts are harder, and unfortunately, something that they love, doing, and most people that ride bikes do it because they love it, not for any other reason. Something that they love doing is costing them their lives, and then that's the biggest tragedy of the whole damn thing. So now you got people, they're staring at their cell phones. They love staring at their cell phones. If a text, come on, George, let me do this. So if a text comes in while the person in the car is driving, they're reading that text. And let's face it, my personal vehicle is 5 years old, and you don't have to do nothing. You hit a little button on the display screen, and the radio reads you your text. You don't need to look at your phone when you're driving no more. Ready to pick a song out of iTunes? Pick your playlist before you start. We also got smoked by an East Indian lady coming in a Peterborough. She was video chatting with her phone mounted to the mirror. Yeah, that's oh my god, that's horrible, isn't it? Between accident and missing people, how many are we losing yearly? It's a good question, Mr. Green Thumb. There's a lot of people go missing too. You're right. And Mountain Iron Ranger 81. Good to see you. I'm glad you made it. Thank you. That is a good question, Mr. Green Thumb, Ottawa. That is a good question. So, yeah, like I say, down around my area, man, there's one a week. There's one a week that was at least a bad crash, and most of them were fatals, unfortunately. Now, there's another post I wanted to share with you. It sticks with our subject. So the one of the founders, I believe, let's read it, for the Ride for Sight, which is one of the biggest charity rides in Ontario. Usually, it used to be. So sad news, our Ride for Sight family, one of our original riders has passed away. Rich Harding and his wife Rose died in a tragic motorcycle accident this past weekend. Rick was a cherished figure, a beloved local legend in his Lindsay community, celebrated for his adventurous soul and vibrant personality. Known for his love of life and passion for motorcycle riding, Rick embraced every moment with enthusiasm and courage. Rick had the most attendances at Ride for Sight than any of our remaining riders and participated at number 47. His stories range from the early years of Ride for Sight to his daring adventures like climbing the Great Pyramids of Giza. And he captivated all that had the luck to listen. Friends say together, Rick and Rose represented love and partnership, and the legacy of kindness will continue to inspire many. Our deepest condolences to Rick and Rose's family and friends. So I'll keep you updated about whether there's going to be any celebration for them. And it says there in the story, he came out of Lindsay, Ontario. And earlier this summer, the guy who does the Lindsay Night Bike Night, his last name is Bray because they have the bike night at Bray's Small Engine Repairs. And I think he's in one of the local clubs up there too. He's an MC rider. John Bray, I believe. He lost his wife this summer because of the Monday night bike nights got shut down for a short time while they dealt with all that. Motorbomb, Virginia. More motorcyclists equals less tolerance or care. I don't know. Lots of anger on the road, all I know. So there's a good point, bro. So after I left the club and I moved down to Toronto. I moved to Toronto for, I don't know, a decade, 15 years, something like that, on and off. And I got a Decker while I was down there. And I lived, one part of the city and worked in another. And there was a highway, straight shot, north-south run, up by the airport, up by Pearson Airport, up to 427, it's called. If you're in the Toronto area, you know what it is. And I lived up on up by the college, up by Sheridan College North Campus there, 27 and Finch, or 427 and Finch, depends on which way you were going. And the shop I worked out of was on Dundas in 427, basically. So we're in the Mississauga side. So anyways, that was my ride from Finch to Dundas every day, up and down the 427. And that particular part of town has got a fair amount of immigrants from India. So as I was coming up the highway, especially in the dead of summer, if your bike's running hot and it's hot out, you can't sit and idle. You're going to overheat it. You're going to wreck something, right? So I'd go up the paved shoulder to keep the wind flowing and the bike moving and the bike cool down somewhat. And besides, who the fuck wants to sit in a traffic jam, right? These guys would pull over in front of me with their car and prevent me from going up the paved shoulder just because they figured if they can't do it, you can't do it. Like I'm telling you, it's some kind of heavy bullshit. So that's the less tolerance part that you're talking about, Motorbomb. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell? So, I used to stop beside the window and say, hey, do you know me? Like, maybe you should just get out of the way or something, you know? They say the decline of our society, but to me, it's caused by them. It is caused by them as the plan. That is why most don't pay attention on who's missing or crashing. It's sad. Yeah, the motor bomb, just meaning so many more bikes on the road these days compared to 90s and 80s, let's say. And that's true too. There's more bikes because more people are getting into the sport and more people are riding more motorcycles out of necessity because of the price of gas and shit like that. And a lot of people are getting into the sport. And don't forget, there are a lot of people buying too much bike for a beginner. There's no question about there. There's always a certain amount of motorcycle accidents that you got to put down to too much bike for the experience on the rider, right? You can't get around that fact. It's just part of it. But I think most of it, you know, and you get these guys in these 18 wheelers, and it used to be, and this was a funny kind of stat in thing in Ontario and Canada. I think the States too. A lot of truck drivers were bike riders. They had Harley hats. They had, you know what I mean? When they got done with their transport truck for the week, they jumped on their motorcycle for Saturday and Sunday and buggered off. That's a lot of truckers I knew and I saw happen to ride motorcycles. Well, nowadays I don't find that's the case. So there's some of that um, involved as well, where they don't care because they're not from the bike culture. They don't care. They don't care about bikes. You see how they drive them big trucks. Some of these cats, and I'm not saying it in any way or another, but some of these cats shouldn't be driving these $80,000 or 80,000 pound loads up and down our highways the way they drive those semi trucks. They just shouldn't be. Plain and simple. They do. We're all well aware that they do, but they shouldn't be driving those things around, man. The the sick people don't even need it. Oh, the Sikh, yeah, the Sikhs don't need a helmet. Yeah, I know, and they're a menace on the road, and they don't drive well either. Now, I haven't seen the motorcycle guys ride in a pack and see how their bikers ride. I know how the housewives drive cars, and it's a fucking nightmare. It's always when you're on the highway. Now when you get on the highway and the left lane used to be the fast lane, used to be the passing lane. That's actually what it's called, the passing lane. Used to be a ticket actually for driving too slow in it. Now you'll see a person in the passing lane. They'll set up their cruise control for like 5 kilometers over, and they won't move over for hell or high water. They don't care if you're going 120. They don't care. They just set up the cruise, and that's where they're going until they get to where they're going. And the other thing, they don't know where they're going. They're just driving solely from their maps on their phone. Some truckers also have to learn to drive before going on their own. That's what I mean, Mr. Green Thumb. Them truckers, them guys who get their licenses around Brampton. I'm honest with you, bro. They did a show on W5. And the motorcycle, or not the motorcycle, the truck driving schools up there have a pay me off and we'll make sure you get your license policy, right? So they teach them enough to pass the written and the driven test, and they kick a little bit more money into the instructor, and they make sure they pass. And they set them out up on the unsuspecting people, man. When I lived in Toronto, there's a case if you're eastbound on the 401 and you want to go north on the 427. It's a long sweeping ramp over there by Molson Brewery on one side, the airport on the other side. It's very long, sweeping. You can see way ahead of you, kind of off ramp. Well, again, every day from 4 o'clock till 6:30 or 7, the 427 northbound especially is a parking lot. They're sitting there. That's all there is to it. This guy from Brampton come around that corner with a dump truck with a dump trailer behind him, full load of gravel. He's hitting it around that ramp, and he's giving her. He's in going home gear, and all the cars in front of him are stopped. So now all of a sudden, there's a family of I think it was 2 or 3 kids, and their mother was dead, returning from work. And that was the end of it, right? He's going to get a little bit of vehicular, and he wasn't drunk, so he's not going to get that much of a charge where it really affects the guy too much. The only last guy I knew in a transport truck accident that it really affected him was that guy out west who wiped out the bus with the hockey team on it, the Hobart thing, Hobart, in Saskatchewan. I remember that guy ran the stop sign on a road he's driven down a million times, and he hit a tour bus with the junior hockey team on it, and wiped out a majority of the team and left the rest of the kids crippled, and mothers and coaches and parents. And it was a fucking show, man. In the middle of the night, is the hockey teams up here, they travel almost like pros do, except they take the roads. They don't get to fly. They don't have enough money in their system yet. And yeah. And his thing was, when he was done they gave him jail time. So when he was done his jail time, they were going to send him back from whence he came. And again, I got a big opinion on that, and it's not like I'm a big Trump person, because God knows I'm not. But a few things that man was on about in his country, we could bring him up here, and the big one is the immigration. We don't need the Gestapo style roundup, but we need to get the people that are in our country on expired visas to go on home for a while, man. They're straining out our system, our housing, our health care, and our jobs, and it's just time to send people home that have outstayed their permits, and let them get new permits. My daughter, when she went to work in France, she had to go and get a permit, and when she's done her permit, she has to come home and get a new permit and go back, because that's her plan. She's going to leave the thing in the countryside in France at the end of this month, and then she's going to return and go work at a ski hill in the French Alps, only because she's bilingual. So I said, get over there and go check out Europe, right? So that's what she's doing. Alberta is shutting down trucking companies and BS trucking schools, trying to make the highways safer. That's good to hear, Lulu. That bride might be crazy, but she's doing a lot of good things for their province. I saw her today on the news wanting that second pipeline. I couldn't agree with her more. Who knows? Maybe I've been conservative all this time. I just thought I was liberal. Who knows? It's something wrong when on the highway, all you can smell is curry. Open windows, my ass. I need a breath. Hey, bro. And again, I don't want to turn this into a racist kind of page and get a whole whack of complaints and get things, get told on and my channel pulled or nothing. But I have heard stories from big truck mechanics, and we've all heard the stories of the holes cut in the floor in the 4-man drive teams. And only one of those men, if you're lucky in that vehicle, has his AZ license. And they're sending them over the states. They're running the states roads too. Yeah, Lulu, the Humboldt Broncos. Yeah, that was a fucking horrible tragedy, right? Your kid, if he's in the juniors, he's got a good shot at the show. And then in the middle of the night, he gets hit by a transport truck. Didn't old Tom Cochran write a song about that way before it happened? I went to one of the funerals at our arena. 4,000 people attended. My province has been greatly affected by the Broncos accident. The flip-flop brigade need to drive by these cats on the highway. Like Steve said, they got their flip-flops on and their feet are up on the dash. Well, they stare at their phone. Like, I don't know, man. If I can see that driving by a guy on the highway, I'm pretty sure one of those black and white things that says OPP on the side can see the same damn thing. You know what I mean? So everyone's got to be more and more careful every year. And then again, let's get off the pick on one people, because it's not all just them people, and it's not all one race or another race. So let's get off of that for now. And like what was it, Motobomb said, there's a lot more bikes on the road, and that's 100%. And the government's not making all those riders take the course, man. I took the course. I took the course so I could join a motorcycle club. You don't think I got laughed at? It don't matter. I took the course. I've never been in a bike crash. Touch wood. You know what I mean? OPP doesn't want the paperwork. Yeah, you're true about that. Hi, Matt Woman. Good to see you tonight. Yeah, they don't want the paperwork because there's more to it than just driving without a license at the end of the day. You know what I mean? There's a lot more to it by the time they get them out of the truck and they figure out who they are. And then they got to go through their log books. I've heard some wild stories about their log books. So, and then again, that could be for any truck driver. You know, I know when we lived out in Alberta, I lived out there as a kid for a short time. And we drive up the mountains, you know, on the weekends or, you know, whatever. And those logging trucks coming down them mountains, man. Woo-wee. It was touch and go whether you're getting around them guys with your car. I couldn't imagine being on a motorcycle and seeing one of them some bitches rolling down some of those mountain roads at you. You know what I mean? They're on a crazy incline. Yeah, they're all bendy. I don't know about that. I'd rather find a road that didn't have any logging trucks on it. I see Huntsville got a nice gift there this week. A plywood company says that they're opening a big plywood plant up in the Huntsville area, so that'll be good for them. And they're going to use the kind of garbage trees and make the particle board, right? So, because a lot of trees out in our woods, I remember even just doing a wood lot and how much stuff you had to get in a pile and just burn it off because it wasn't worth cutting into pieces, right? And when you're clearing. You got to get it all off. So that's good to see. The garbage trees will get used. Huntsville's got a new factory coming. You got 300 new jobs coming. Now, hopefully that doesn't mean they get 300 people move up from another country. You know what I mean? Hopefully it'll be 300 people in their area that get to work, man. Because all the areas of this country right now are depressed. And again, it's nice to see that Smith in Alberta, she's bucking for the pipelines again. But the guy in BC, the premier in BC, he's saying, nah, I don't think so. So, I don't know, man. We got so much natural gas under the ground in the northern part of our country. It's got to get bottled out and compressed to ship it. I don't know. And it's, you know, going west is the shortest route. I don't know why the guy in BC is that dead set against it. Hopefully they can come to some sort of terms. They've already put one transfer station and, you know, two would be better. Maybe two would be better. Let's hope it'd be better. Oh, that's why, because EB's a fuck. Well, it could be just that. You know who I like? I like that native premier that they got in Manitoba. That guy tells it like it is, man. I like that guy. He doesn't mince the words. He doesn't give you political talk. He just tells you what it is. Yeah, but see these terms, globalist and all that stuff. Wouldn't a globalist be more of a person that's all about true capitalism because they want the biggest market for whatever their product is, wherever the market happens to be, and they want to send the shit to the markets? Isn't that what a globalist would be? At least that's what I thought it would be. No, man. It's the other dog this time. I saw one today that BlackRock is now buying up public utility companies in the states that have gone private. In Ontario, one, our hydro company, they sold it off to a private company years ago. So now the big companies, those big companies like BlackRock, they've bought into the food business. So they've got our food. Now they want the infrastructure, the housing, and the utilities. And then basically private companies are going to own stuff that people need to survive. Very rich reserves in BC, they have lots of power. Well, in the BC, they built those big hydroelectric dams on the rivers, and nobody really gave them too much flack about that. The real question is how many people in Canada are happy? Should people do something to make themselves happy? Well, I got to tell you, I'm not that fucking happy, bro. You know, except for when I smoke one of these. That's what I'm going to fire one up right now for as we get through the back end of this episode. You know what I mean? That would be a good way to monitor it, right? Is people's happiness. Because honestly, people aren't going to be happy if they're scrambling to pay their bills and they're worried about losing all the shit that they own. You know, you can't be happy when you're living like that. That's why I've been living for the last few months. Am I going to lose everything? Am I going to sneak through? Is the bank going to take it? Am I going to keep it? What's going to happen? I don't know. Fight, try to get through it. You know what I mean? Who the hell wants to wake up every day and have that's the first thought in your head every morning, right? Is Jesus Christ, I need some money to pay blah, blah, blah. Because the blah, blah, blahs never stop. The bills don't stop coming. The work could stop coming, but the bills don't stop coming. You know, I did one service call today. That's all I've done all week. Last week I did a job on Sunday. That's all I did all week. I'm not paying my nut with one job a week, man. Not by a long shot. But you're right. See, my other thought is, well, no, we won't go down that road today. I was going to talk about, there's a guy out there doing videos now with the homeless people. He's going from city to city in Canada. He did my city already, and I seen him do one for Sudbury too. And he goes and talks to the homeless. And I'd like to talk to that guy and say, are you doing it for clicks and for shock value? And because, you know, his thumbnails say, oh, I visited the worst drug-infected city in the country, or is he doing it because he wants to help? And in that case, he's taking advantage of these people who already have a problem. Steve, the bills just keep getting bigger. You're absolutely right, bro. Mr. Green Thumb Ottawa, that's my opinion. Yeah, I hear you, bro. Mountain Woman, capitalism is changing and no, we're in the middle of the fourth turning. History only repeats when a different world order is coming. It is a cycle that occurs every 80 to 100 years. Rob Caron, what's your company name? It's called CJ HVAC Services. And you find us on Facebook. You know what I mean? But I'm out there. I'm doing my thing. I'm you know, now the furnaces will be coming on. I should get some work for the furnaces that didn't come on, right? But all the big companies in our parts of the world are working, and you know, a company like Reliance will be working. Thanks, Rob. I appreciate you, bro. Do you know new homes, gas lines, whatever, duct work, repair furnace ACs, install furnace ACs, tankless water heaters, mini splits, heat pumps. I can do all that shit, right? And I have a partner also. So whatever I don't know, between the two of us, we'll get her sorted. But no, I've been in the trade for years, so I'm actually waiting. I got accepted to be a teacher at the community college, and I didn't understand, but the we call it the TSSA, and that's a gas regulatory company in Canada, had to give their approval for me to become an instructor, a teacher. So my approval letter came in the first week of September, and school, of course, starts in the first week of September. So now I got to wait till next semester, January. So they told me they got some hours set aside for me already in January. Some day school, some night school, don't care which. I'm really excited to start teaching. Great subject, thanks. I commute 5 days a week on bike, mostly construction, the whole 11 miles. That sucks, hey, bro. Underwater tunnel, that'd be fun. They're building a new tunnel, so super heavy traffic, 150,000 cars. Wow, man. That'd be cool to ride under that tunnel. Thanks, Rob. Mountain Woman, the fellow put the term together in 1920 A book was written in 1990s, gives an idea of what be happening. Interesting. And 150,000 cars a day. So you see a lot of the shit out there if you're riding with that many vehicles, and it'll be like when I was riding up and down the highway there in Toronto during rush hour. You see a million cars, and yeah, you see some crazy shit out there. And what you don't witness with your own eyes, when you get home and turn on the news, they're telling you about it on the news, right? This happened, that happened. We may even be at the end of third turning, but regardless, the new world order is coming. See, I believe that, and everyone wants to blame this side of politics or that side of politics. The shit that's going on, like the term globalist, the big corporations have been driving for globalism for years, right? Bike News Canada, next time you're in my neighborhood, let me know. We can chat more. I will. Yeah, if I get up there in Ottawa, I plan on taking the show on the road next summer, bro. As much of the summer I can be on two wheels, going from bike night to bike night to bike event to bike event. That's what I'm going to try to do next summer. That's my plan for next summer for the channel. And so the big corporations, no matter what, they wanted to get to as many customers as they can, wherever they happen to be. So that's where globalism comes in. And then on the same time, they want the cheapest labor force they can use, which happened to be in China. So they packed up all the factories in North America and shipped them to China, and that's where they are, because you're not going to get any cheaper labor than free labor, right? And the only thing they had to do to get that basically free labor or very cheap labor is give the Chinese government a piece of the company. So you think you're gonna drag them companies out of China to come back to North America, either America or Canada? Not a flipping chance. So now we're back at the point of we got to build smaller companies and rebuild them again from the ground up. With if you're in America with the Americans, if you're in Canada with Canadians, I think because a lot of the influence out of the States is already in Canada. Like as far as the food side of the world goes, we've got Cargill is in Canada now. Cargill has gone around and bought all the meat producing farms. I think they started out buying all the chicken farms up, right? So they own them. So they come into a small family run farm and they basically swing this thing so that the farmers got to do everything to their specs and their way and use their products and blah, blah, blah. Otherwise, they're basically not going to be in business anymore. And they've done the same for grains and corns, and porks and beefs. So all these companies that used to be, if you can grow it, you can eat it, and if you got surplus, you sell it, etc. They've all gone to be capitalist, big corporation run, which is going to be the end of us. It's cool, all right. Many years of it. Lots of people are looking at phones mostly. It's a way of life now. Need to save riding for the country, I think. I agree. When I get on my bike, or when I had my bike, anyways, I'll have another one. Don't get me wrong. Anyways, that would be what I did. I'd suit up and head for out of town, man. And even head for out of town and go through them little small towns and the 2-lane highways and just putz around. I'm on a Harley. I'm not looking to go 4 million miles an hour with my knee dragging on the ground. I'm looking to ride around, listen to my radio, man, and have a laugh with my buddies. Have a cigarette while I'm riding, something like that, right? That's what I'm out there for. To promote a country is to pay your labor well, then they stay happy, but instead we go for cheaper. Exactly, Mr. Green Thumb. And that's all these big corporations. They've all got to answer to the shareholders. They've all got to, because if the company does bad for a year, the guys at the top get the boot, and those guys at the top are making stupid salaries, $8 million a year, $20 million a year, Coca-Cola company and shit like that. What the hell do they do that they need $8 million for the fucking year to do it? Like they better be in the office all fucking day and night for that kind of money, man. You know. So, anyways, it's getting stranger out there. I even think when I get back on the road next summer, I've seen them advertised around. They've got refresher courses, and they've got getting your skills, keeping them up to date courses. And I think I'm going to go take one of those courses. And they've got, of course, defensive driving courses and shit like that for motorcycles. I think I'm going to look into a few of them. Of course, I'm going to make them into shows, you know what I mean, and give my opinion of them and take the course and then give you guys my opinion on how the course was and whether others should take it or not. But I think that's what I got for a Tuesday evening, everybody. I want to thank everyone, all you fine people who take the time out of your life and tune in and come hang out with me for a half an hour or an hour, or whatever the case may be. You guys make my day and you make the channel, man. We're going to keep growing this channel. We're going to just keep growing it. You guys got ideas. You guys got things you want me to look into and talk about. Send them on down. I don't care. Put them in the comments. If I think, hey, that's a pretty cool idea, I will do a show. A lot of businesses around here are doing the immigrant wage supplement from the government. Right, Steve? That was part of the thing when I said that all these people that are here on expired work permits, if they're expired, they got to go home and try again. Steve. And they brought them over. They were supposed to be. They started out to pick agriculture, right? Pick tobacco, pick whatever. All of a sudden, they got them working in Tim Hortons. They arrested them guys. Can't remember where the hell they were now. Who had a house full of people from overseas, and they were basically using them as slave labor in Tim Hortons's. So even people from their own countries are taking advantage of these. You know what I mean? Like, my God, Central Ontario Adventures. Well, thank you for joining us, Central Ontario Adventures. And I'm going to sign off. Thank you, Motabomb. It was a pleasure. Thank you, Mr. Green Thumb Ottawa, Mama Iron Ranger 81, Mountain Woman Lulu, Steve, of course. Steve, it's always a pleasure, bro. And Mike, if you're still in the chat, Mike, thanks for dropping in, bro. I appreciate you every time. And I think I caught everyone. So thanks for everything, guys. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll think of something new to talk about. And until then, ride safe, be cool, and much respect. Good night.